Hello and welcome to another edition of our Farmers Program brought to you by the National Agricultural Extension and Research Liaison Services (NAERLS) in collaboration with Zaria Fertilizer. This program is designed to provide practical information that helps farmers improve productivity, profitability and sustainability. This is the Smart Farmers Corner on the NAERLS Farming Smart Channel, where we bring you practical knowledge for better farming. Today's topic is farming system analysis, identifying household resource endowments and knowing your farmer, why one size does not fit all. Many extension programs and farm recommendations fail because they assume all farmers are the same, but are they? Certainly not. To help us understand why farmers differ and how agricultural recommendations should match their realities, we have with us Professor Ojeleye, an agricultural extension specialist. You're welcome to the program, sir.
Thank you very much. It's a pleasure to be here.
Prof.
Yes, ma'am.
Let's begin with something simple for farmers. What is farming system analysis?
Okay, so farming system analysis, it's a way to study how farm household operates. Okay, it looks at the crop the farmers are producing, whether they are producing cereals majorly, whether they are producing legumes, whether they are producing horticultural crops, the kind of livestock they are also keeping, whether small ruminants, large ruminants, poultry production. Then we look also at the labor, whether it is exclusively family labor or hired labor. Okay, then the land, how fertile the land is, the land size, then the tools they are using, whether they have access to machinery, whether they are using simple tools like hoes and cutlasses, then the family members, gender roles in the family, who take decision, then and other resources available to the household, resources from maybe other income, maybe they are having some secondary occupation, or whether they get remittances from abroad, from children abroad or from the city. Okay, so all of this helps us to understand how farmers make their decision and how different farmers achieve different results even when they grow the same kind of crops.
And why is this important?
Okay, this is very important because agricultural recommendation generally must fit the farmer's situation. A practice that works well for one farmer may not necessarily work for another farmer because of differences in their resources. Okay, a farmer has access to this resource, this other resource, the other farmer does not have same access. So a recommendation may fit well to the other farmer that has those other resources to work well for him, but the other farmer may not have that access. And maybe in trying to get the access to that resource, maybe fertilizer and all of that, the farmer may run into debt, and that may backfire at the end of the day. And essentially, all of this can lead to lack of trust in extension service.
Okay, we often hear about household resource endowments. What does this mean?
Okay, so household resource endowments. This refers to resources available to a farming household. Based on these resources, farmers generally are grouped into three categories. And for instance, the first one is the high resource endowment or high resource endowed farmer or farming household. Generally, these kind of farmers, they have larger land holdings, they have more livestock, they can have large ruminant and small ruminant, poultry, okay, on their farms. Okay, these farmers have better access to credit. They can approach any bank. They have the collaterals usually required by banks for them to be able to access loans. Type of farmers also have access to machinery, farm machineries like tractor, shellers, plows, harvesters, so on. So they use hired labor because a farm that is over 5 up to 10, 20, there's no way family labor can be used for operations on the farm. So usually these high resource endowed farmers use mostly hired labor. They also use improved inputs, improved seeds, hybrid seeds. In particular, because of the resources that is available to these farmers, it's easier for them to adopt technology faster, and they can take more risk than the other set of farm typologies.
Can you give our listener an example or examples?
Okay, so a farmer cultivating 5, 10, 20 hectarage of maize, for instance, is using tractor on his farm, that is using improved seeds, hybrid seeds, he has access to fertilizer, even probably has irrigation facilities. These are typically classified as high resource endowed farmers.
So we mentioned they are in 3 categories.
Yes. Well, maybe the second category now will be medium resource endowed farmers. And the characteristics for these farmers is that they have moderate land size between 2 hectares to 5 hectares. Okay. They also have some livestock, but limited access to credit. They can probably access credit through the village savings and loans associations. Mostly they use family labor. And here and there, they can also hire labor to do some of their farm operations. These generally they partially use improved technologies, not entirely, and they can adopt innovations, but their adoption usually comes gradually. They are gradual about, adopting innovations that are presented or available to them.
So they are somewhere in the middle.
Oh yes, yeah, exactly. They are in the middle. And the third group, which is the low resource endowed farmers. These farmers are typically, they have small land holdings, they have few assets, hoes, cutlasses, simple tools. They have limited income. They usually lack access to credit entirely. They don't have access to credit. And this set of farmers depend solely on family labor. Their family members as what they use for their farm operations. And these households often are vulnerable to drought, to pests, to market shocks, and all other vagaries that can affect them.
So what does this mean for extension services?
Okay, what this will mean, portent for extension, is that recommendations must be such that it's affordable to whatever kind of typology we are looking at. It must be affordable and it must be realistic. If you say you are advising a low-resource farmer to purchase expensive machinery, this obviously is not practicable. It's not realistic. That you should go and use tractor when it's using just 0.5 hectares of farm and all of that. That doesn't make sense.
So, sir, extension workers often say, know your farmer. What does that mean?
Okay, knowing one's farmer simply means you need to understand your farmer before you can make recommendation, before you can advise them. Okay, and essentially what an extension agent should know is that what is this farmer I want to advise, what is the farm size, what probably is also the family size, because that will determine labor. The farm size will determine whether it's going to be mechanized farming or traditional farming. Then the income sources, if you are going to make recommendation that will amount to millions of naira, and the farmer is only a low resource endowed farmer, that ordinarily, yes. Then livestock ownership too. Is it just household poultry production, small ruminant and all of that, or large scale ruminant production like large ruminant and all of that? Okay. You also want to have an idea of the access they have to market. Okay. What kind of market do they have access to? Is this such as by the roadside or the village market or urban market, or even probably the farmer has access to international markets? So, the recommendations will be different for all these categories. Okay. Then educational level, of the farmer. Then gender roles within the household. You want to understand whether the woman can make decision, whether it's only the man that can make decision, whether the children in the house can make decision, and all of that. That will portend the kind of recommendations that can be given. Then also the availability of family labor or hired labor, if they have access to this. And sometimes you may even want to understand the time that maybe scarcity of labor, when the labor will be available or when labor will not be available. Okay, yes. Then these factors generally they influence the decisions that the farmer makes and how they can adopt whatever technology or whatever recommendation or advice that the extension agent is giving.
Okay.
Yes.
So can two farmers in the same village require different recommendations?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. Yes, they can. One farmer may probably have irrigation facilities, while another farmer does not have, and probably depend entirely on rainfall. Then one farmer may afford hybrid seed, improved seed, fertilizer, and all of that, some other inputs, agrochemicals, while the other farmer may not have that luxury. So whatever recommendation is to be given is such that it will be low cost for such farmers. Okay, this is why extension service should be farmer specific. There's need for extension service, advices, and all of that to be farmer specific.
Our topic says one size does not fit all. Why?
Okay, this is simply because farmers generally operate in different circumstances, different environment, different location. What is available to them is different, okay? The resources that are available to them are different, and so recommendations should consider resource availability, okay? Also the climatic conditions. For instance, the recommendation you give in the southern part of the country will definitely be different from such that will be given in the northern part of the country. Even in the northern part of the country, we still have differences in the climatic conditions, okay? The labor availability I've mentioned, even that earlier, labor, hired labor, family labor, scarcity of labor, the period of scarcity and all of that, okay? Then gender considerations, then farm objectives. Some farm objectives are essentially for subsistence, just for food for the family to be able to feed. Some other ones are for them to feed and sell some. Well, some other farm goal may be purely for commercial purposes. So all of these recommendations will differ, okay? Then also the market opportunities. Not every farmer has the same access to market. Not every farmer has market opportunities cutting across them all. So they have to have different recommendations. So in essence, one size does not fit all.
Okay, so for example?
If I have to give an example, I would say maybe a fertilizer recommendation suitable for a large commercial farmer now, okay, may not be affordable to a small holder farmer, okay. Similarly, if a labor-intensive technology, for instance, the systems of rice intensification (SRI) that requires intensive labor, a large-scale farmer may not be able to do that, okay, because they may have issues with limited labor. So the best agricultural advice is to give advice that matches the farmer's reality. That would be the best that the extension agent should be able to give to the farmers.
Okay, so what practical advice do you have for farmers regarding fertilizer use?
Okay, fertilizer use. Farmers should first understand their production goals. Okay, earlier I was mentioning that the farm objective, farm goals, some are subsistence farming, meaning that they are into production for food alone. There's the other that is peasantry. They are into production for food and sell a little or whatever is left off from their food demand. Then the other is commercial. Some of the commercial farmers don't even eat from their products. They produce entirely for the market. So the goal is very important for us to understand what fertilizer requirement that will be used. Then another is also the availability of resources. Then beside the availability of resources, use of fertilizer according to soil needs and crop requirement is very, very important. In particular, for the large-scale farmers, it is recommended that they do soil tests so that whatever fertilizer they are going to use will be such that is actually what is required by their farms, the land that they are using for cultivation. So that is very, very important that the large-scale farmer or commercial farmers or the high-endowed farmers that they should undertake that. But by and large, they should also seek guidance from extension agents and follow recommended application rates as recommended by the extension agent. This is very, very important for the farmers to be able to fully utilize fertilizers in their farm operations. Okay,
thank you very much, Prof, for those valuable insights. Dear farmer, today's lesson is clear. Farmers are different. Resources differ from one household to another. High, medium, and low resource farmer have different capacities. Agricultural recommendations should be tailored to individual circumstances. Effective extension begins with understanding the farmer. This program is brought to you by NAERLS in collaboration with Zaria Fertilizer. Until next time, I am Halima Musa saying thank you for listening and wishing you a productive farming season. This program is brought to you by Zaria Fertilizer, your partner in productive farming. For more information about Zaria Fertilizer, kindly reach out to this contact on 08037154428. Join us next time on NAERLS Farming Smart Channel for more practical farming tips. Thank you for listening to the Smart Farmers Corner. Join us again next week for another practical farming discussion. Until then, keep farming smart and keep your soil alive.